Reviewing the solutions to the story problems from 10-4 using the quadratic equation and discriminant. In the first story problem, you have a roofer tossing a piece of tile from the roof to the ground 30 feet below. As you read this, a few things you need to remember. There is a downward velocity because he's throwing from the roof to the ground of 10 feet per second. You will use this equation and you find it often in quadratics with the use of gravity, where h is the height of the object after t seconds and v is the initial velocity, lowercase h is the initial height. Some things you need to think about. First, always read the entire story problem so you know what each variable represents. The roof is 30 feet above the ground, so h needs to be a positive 30. The tile is being thrown down off the roof, so the initial velocity needs to be negative 10. Therefore, the equation that would match the story situation is number 3. I ask you then to solve. Since it's being thrown down, we have a negative 10. I will use the quadratic formula. Very carefully substituting in negative 10 for my b. Remember, it's the opposite of b, so here I have a positive 10. I always like to substitute items underneath the radical sign first. I would end with 10 plus the square root of 2020, all divided by negative 32. I would have 10 minus the square root of 2020, divided by negative 32. I end up with two solutions, negative 1.7, positive 1.1. If this was not a story problem, these would both be great answers. I do not know about negative time, therefore the only solution that would work with the story is 1.1 seconds for the tile to reach the ground. Next, we have Larry tossing a ball up to Kathy. She is in a window. She's throwing the ball up at 30 feet per second. He releases it from a height of 6 feet. That means he's about that tall. Using that equation, the lowercase h is the height of the ball after t seconds. If the ball must reach 25 feet for Kathy to catch it, the question is, does the ball reach Kathy? Note, substitute 25 in for lowercase h and use the discriminant. So this is the discriminant. Use this equation. I'll put 25 in for h. Again, before you ever start solving or using equations, you set them equal to 0. So I will subtract 25 from both sides to get negative 19. B squared minus 4ac. Careful with my negative signs here. I end up with a negative discriminant. When you have a negative discriminant, there are no real solutions. Therefore, the ball will not reach Kathy.